Welcome back. It's still inside Nigeria, and of course, we are looking at the planned unveiling of electronic naira by the Central Bank of Nigeria tomorrow, October 1, 2021. Of course, joining us is Ayodele Oladeji. Ayodele Oladeji is an international business lawyer and IT consultant based in Russia. Ayodele, good morning again.
Good
Good morning.
afternoon, viewers. Good
Okay,
afternoon.
afternoon in Russia. Okay,
Yes,
morning in Nigeria. It's 10:22 a.m. here in Nigeria. All right,
thank
let's
you.
start.
It's a pleasure to be on the show again today.
Thank you,
Pleasure
Ayo.
to
Thank you.
host you on our program.
Now, let's start with the concern raised by our sister publication, The National Economy. You have seen what is on the front page of The National Economy this morning, the lead story talking about hacking, poor internet access are the top concerns as our central bank launches e-Naira tomorrow. Even though the experts are saying the policy will fast track financial inclusion and reduce abuse on our Naira notes. Ayodele, what is your own take on this? Let's start from there.
No, first and
Well,
foremost,
first of all, I
okay.
would like to say there is not enough national orientation on what's on the ground because a lot of people in the grassroots don't have an idea of what this is or how it's going to work. And it's very important that the people are enlightened to enable them embrace this opportunity fully. That's the first thing I would like to mention. And for poor internet access, I think by now the government should have made a lot of effort as regards communication infrastructure, especially in the mobile sector, because that's where most of all the users will come from. Most people will operate their wallets and make all their transactions from their mobile phones. So I expect all the telecommunicating companies to have geared out and to be ready for these infrastructures to enable easy flow of transactions, which is very, very important. Also, the security part is very important. All the banks or all the tech companies that will be providing wallets should attain the highest IT security protocols to avoid the issue of hacking and fraudsters. Of course, this goes back to my earlier point of national orientation because people have to be aware that fraudsters will want to take this new opportunity of this uh, technology that is new to our market and continue some activities. So a lot of enlightenment has to be done in this regard. And I'll also want to make mention the SIM registration process. It has to come to play because the KYC will mean nothing if the registration phone numbers that were used cannot be traced to a specific individual. There are other registration numbers like um, INN and all those other ones, and it might be useful, but the phone numbers have to be traceable to know from what mobile what transaction came from and some security features. And lastly, to round up my point, I think the charges for transfer on eNaira has to be minimal to enable local business and small scale industries to benefit and for everyday users to have painless transactions, I would like to say. So that's my contribution on this issue.
So,
Okay, thank you so much.
in a nutshell, what would you say are the benefits for Nigeria? What would you say will be the
Well,
benefit of this planned digital economy, a digital naira?
I think it's going to facilitate the banking process and business transaction a lot. You don't have to go to the bank. You have the bank right with you in your pocket, and you can move volume of cash easily. I think this will reduce theft in a very large scale because the highway robbers and the armed robbers who are out there to break into banks or to attack businessmen when they are moving cash from one place to another will be totally reduced because I mean, irrespective of the several millions, you can just do it via your mobile phone based on the new banking protocols or all the arrangements available, and easily everything will be able to work out fine. So I think we will have liquidity of cash, and people will be able to go about their transactions in a very faster way.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayodeji. Now I want to find out what makes e-money different from the money that I have in my account. What is the difference between e-money and my money in my account? The savings I have.
It's relatively the same thing. E-Naira is just a digital representation of Naira itself, which will enable decentralized finance. So what you have is just a digital representation of the same Naira that would be in your wallet or your purse or your pocket or lying on the table in your home. So there's no difference. It's still one and same.
Okay.
Okay, Ayodeji, you see, I don't know. We'll be experiencing this for the first time, effective tomorrow, October 1. Will you share your thoughts with us or experience as to the Russian economy? Do we have similar digital currency in Russia? What has been the impact and what is the difference between what is obtainable in Russia and what we are about to unveil here in Nigeria tomorrow?
Well, in Russia, we've had a more gradual process to enable easy adaptation. The Russian digital ruble is ready, and the government has experimented with 11 banks only for starters. And subsequently, after then, more commercial banks will be onboarded, and the general public will key into it finally. So it's been a gradual process here in Russia, and I see no reason why it can be the same in Nigeria if we put all the necessary things in place. Because I can see Russia has better telecommunicating infrastructures than Nigeria, and the process here has been gradual. So I guess in Nigeria it might be a little bit slower, but I guess we'll get there.
All right. There are also opinion that this might help uh, financial policies, national financial policies. Somebody was telling me earlier this morning that if all Nigerians can have e-Naira account, it will be easy for government to actually initiate financial intervention for all Nigerians. For example, during the COVID-19, there were arguments as to how the government can reach out and send what do you call it? Palliative, financial palliative to Nigerians, so that e-Naira account can make it easy for the government to reach out to every citizen financially.
That's very correct. In the crypto space, there are technologies like airdrops. So I guess if the government decides that there's there's a pandemic or um, citizens are stranded in a difficult situations and the government wants to provide financial aid, this can automate payments and everyone will get the details. But there's a special consideration here that there has to be available metadata of all who are on this electronic payment system or some wallet address to enable all this. Because without data, it's not possible to just move funds all around. So you need the specific address of the wallet or the account number, as the case may be, to facilitate such payments. But it's well possible, and it's one of the viable solutions that comes with the e-Naira.
Okay, Deji, you also recall that there is similarity between the planned e-Naira in Nigeria and cryptocurrency. They are both digital currencies. Interestingly, in Nigeria, cryptocurrency has been banned because it is believed it can aid uh, financing terrorism, money laundering, and other, financial infractions. Now, can we also nurse the same fears about e-Naira?
Well, they are actually two different things. E-Naira is not a cryptocurrency; it's a digital currency. These are two different decentralized finance technology applications. That's the first point I would like to make. Secondly, Nigeria is not the only country that have banned cryptocurrency. Recently, we've seen China and probably some other countries. But banning cryptocurrency is not the issue because, as to be realistic, you can't ban cryptocurrency. That's how the technology is designed. It's designed in a way that it's decentralized finance. You can ban it. However, it can be regulated, and that's what the United States has been taking advantage of. So if we have proper and standard regulations, um, people who operate exchanges or decentralized exchange for all these cryptocurrencies can have a standard KYC. So in this case, you know who your clients are. If I run a decentralized exchange and I'm licensed by the Nigerian government, for example, if I have 2 million users on my platform, I should be able to have their data. I should be able to protect them from themselves and from other people who might want to perpetrate some financial crimes. So I should have a KYC. I should know the basic information of every user. And so in this case, we will be able to know who is liable for committing any crime, and it will be easy to get across to such people. But that will not work if regulation is not well outlined and well stated. And Nigeria is not the only country struggling with this. Even the top countries in the world have problem with regulation when it comes to this technology because it's new. And to start with, the cyberspace, it's different from the physical space. So we have governance and law for our real world, but there are no laws for the cyberspace. And this has always been a big confusion and cause of argument. So first of all, we need standard IT and cyber laws, and then we will be able to look at financial policies that will streamline and guide this new form of banking system. And then we will not have the problem of people trying to take advantage of money laundering because, of course, there will be a limit to the types of transactions that you can have, even if it's going to be crypto. And so little policies like this will make everything work out with no hassle. Of course, crypto has its good side, and blockchain technology is not just about only cryptocurrency. We're also looking at smart contracts and some other forms of advantages. So I would encourage the government to also look at the possibility of regulations that will work for this. And of course, the policies will enhance better business and a good economy.
Thank you so much. My fear is this: don't you think that e-Naira, as it were, is kind of restrictive, considering the fact that it's only for open users? You cannot actually use e-money now to make payment for those in the rural communities, or even to buy little things like vegetables and all other low-end transactions in the society.
Well, I will say that's the lapse of the government. First of all, by now we should have had good infrastructure for telecommunications. Um, the average Nigerian is a youth, and I can say most of our youth have mobile phones, so probably that will work well. If the youth embrace it first, I guess it will trickle down to to the grassroots. But however, this is the time for national orientation where the government has to reach out to the people and tell them about it. Okay, this is what we have, this is how it works, this is how it will benefit you. And then maybe my grandmother will think of it as a good idea that, okay, let me use the e-Naira and I don't have to carry so much money in my purse. But we being Africans, and if we look at our psychology, although several times the government has said don't spray money in your weddings or naming ceremonies or burials, but then I think maybe the e-Naira will make us stop such habits of throwing around Naira notes when we have parties, and we'll just have to make transfers if we have to give money to our friends. So everything still narrows down to, first of all, national orientation to let people know what's happening, and provision of telecommunicating infrastructures. So as the level of literacy and education increases, we will have a new generation of Nigerians who are mobile friendly and they know how this technology works. And then they are convinced that their money is secure if they put it on these electronic wallets that they have. And then the network is good, such that you can send money and then it will not hang. The person gets it immediately because it's a bone of contention. Oh, I have sent it. Oh, I'm yet to receive it. And this can be because of poor network access.
All right, Deji. Finally, let me escalate question further and even your own response. If you look at the rider on the list story on the national economy today, talking about experts saying the policy will fast track financial inclusion and reduce abuse on Naira notes. Of course, that is understandable that the physical Naira is prone to abuse in Nigeria because of our societal values and cultural whatever. We like Owambe too much. So we need to go and dance and spray money at naming ceremonies, weddings, and burial. So with e-Naira, of course, Naira can be saved from abuse. But talking about financial inclusion, I don't really understand, because I know this is a country where internet penetration is very low. We have a large chunk of Nigerian population which are unbanked. So how will they, in actual sense of the term, benefit from e-Naira? Talking about financial inclusion, because low internet penetration, talking about broadband, and a large part of the population are unbanked. They don't even use conventional financial services.
Well, I think the only way we can go about this is if we go through onboarding and deployment for first our major cities, and if we are able to start with the the urban areas, they already have this infrastructure, so it might be easy for them to key into it. And then we will be looking at maybe some government, some arms of the government, maybe some of the ministries, and they say, okay, all civil servants should get electronic wallets. We'll pay your salaries via this. I think if we can start with the major urban areas and some structures that we have existing, it will be easier to absorb it into the system. Because, like you said, I don't think my old folks, maybe like my great grandmother or maybe some grandmothers, will want to use an electronic wallet. They feel that they are too old for it. But um, in the urban areas and in the big cities, the big companies and all the big businessmen who have such infrastructures and they have the needed technology, we can onboard this set of people first, and then gradually we'll go down till it gets to the rural area. That's the only way the system can be adopted and for it to function properly. I don't think we can onboard the whole nation because, like you said, there are a lot of people who don't even have a bank account at all. So first, you have to take them a long way before they key in.
Yeah, there something just came to my mind again. You must have been following events here in Nigeria, at home here in Nigeria. The Naira is suffering a lot of, fall to dollar. Our exchange rate has been in one sort of controversy or the other. In your own view, as a Nigerian and international business lawyer, what do you think we can do to actually save Naira from free fall?
Well, this is a question of debate for a long time. So how it works here, for an instance, is the central bank has its own standard rate, and the commercial banks have their rate. In relativity, all the commercial banks have almost the same rate. Maybe you just find some little copex in the difference. But how it works is depending on your reason, you can walk into any commercial bank in Russia, provide identification, and buy the US dollar. However, you cannot use it for any form of payment except the local currency, which is the ruble. It's not the same in Nigeria. People use dollar for payments in Nigeria. That's wrong because you have created an artificial demand in the first place. So how it works here is you walk into the bank, you provide an identification, you buy the US dollar. But once you walk out of the bank, the value drops. You can't get it for the same value that you bought it. So if you're going to buy it, it has to be for something important. Maybe you want to travel abroad. So in this case, you will expend it. And if it's some form of business transaction, your bank will handle it on your behalf. So there is no one out there on the street where you can get it from except the bank. And there is no reason whatsoever why you want to have it if there is no appropriate use for it. Because once you buy, you're selling at a cheaper rate. So there's no way you can benefit from it. There is no existing black market to say. So if we can adopt the same rule in Nigeria where all the banks have a foreign exchange desk where you can just go and say, I want to go to Cotonou for the weekend, or I want to go to Johannesburg on Thursday. And then they say, how many days do you want to spend? Say, I want 5 days and I would like to buy $500. And then they pay to you and then you go to Cotonou. Because even if you decide not to go on the trip, you can call your neighbor and say, I have dollars for sale. Your neighbor can also go to the bank and get it himself. So why does he have to buy from you? So this is the logic. We just need good regulations. The bank should be the one who is in charge of buying and selling, and the rate should be controlled by the CBN. And there should be a very good data for statistics and the price of the dollar against whatever local currency every day. The government should have an official site. Probably the CBN can have it on its website, and the commercial banks will mirror it. So everyone knows how much the dollar costs, and they know they can just walk into their banks and get it. So there's no need for a third party. There's no need for a black market. And this way, the rate will be stable. It will not fluctuate because people know if they go to the bank, they might not be able to get it. And so they have to fall back to the black market. And so the guy in the black market can take advantage of this and shoot the price. But if it's something that you know that day in, day out, you just need to go to your bank and provide a genuine reason, I mean, the price will be fixed.
No.
Nigeria, many Nigerians, they know how to cut, short the system, cut corners. And like we read that many Nigerians, they're even forging visas to take to these banks to
attempt to want to travel just to get dollar.
Yes,
I was going to say that because what he just said depends on our political will. We have the solution, but we are not ready to actually.
Yeah, but even I'm sorry to cut you short, but even if someone takes fake documents and go to the bank and buy the dollar, if the policy states that everybody can get it if they have a genuine reason, then the genuine guy who needs it will not fall victim of buying from you who got it with a fake visa, because he can just walk to the bank and get it himself the same way you did. So that cuts out, it will even be a waste of time for you to go and forge documents to want to get dollar, because anybody who genuinely needs it can walk into any commercial bank and get it at the bank rate. So that's it. Once we can have this standard, it's going to work.
Yeah, I
black
understand
market, nothing.
because
no black market, because once you go out of the bank, the value drops and nobody will take it from you. I would rather go to the bank myself, knowing fully well that I have a genuine reason and I will get it.
black market.
The central bank tolerated the parallel market for long, and just a few weeks ago they say, okay, no more black market. It's only bank that you can get the dollar. But again, we woke up to a situation where people approach the bank that they are going to travel, give us BAT in dollars, and only for them to cancel the travel in order for them to have dollar to themselves. But what the bank did also good, they published the name of the defaulter so that others will not want to do that. So the solution lies with God. The political will our political leaders go about as a status symbol, carrying dollar to pay for orange, to pay for cake, to pay for juice.
But
You know,
they are
like
the
you said.
ones that also got us in this mess, because we read that most of these so-called big men, political holders, they get directly from
Central bank,
and
take
they
back
go
to the
out exactly
black market
black
to make more money, round tripping.
Exactly, round tripping.
Well,
the case that you've mentioned lately existed because the black market is still there.
Yes.
Once you've been able to maybe criminalize it and say if you buy through a third party, you'll be punished. And if you need the dollar, go to the bank. And then it's actually available at the bank. This will dissolve the black market naturally and the rates will be fixed. Every day you can just look up to your bank's website and get the standard dollar rate.
Many thanks to you, Ayodeji Oladele, international business lawyer and IT consultant based in Russia, for your invaluable insights this morning. We hope to see more of you on Inside Nigeria here at the Leadership Podcast Studio in Abuja, Nigeria.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Deji.
My pleasure.
See, he said it all, honestly.
Yes.
We need to learn a lot of lessons, but like I said, the solution lies with us, the
Political
political will, if we're actually ready and serious as the people. Well, viewers, thank you. This much we have for you on Inside Nigeria this morning. Keep it with us tomorrow for a special edition in commemoration of Nigeria's 61st independence anniversary. Winifred, back to what?
Tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow is a date that you just can't afford to miss. We have so much for you. Nigeria is 61, or we'll be 61 tomorrow, and we just have to dissect how far we've gone and the future prospects.
Yeah, where we hope to be in another 61 years to come. All right.
Keep it with us.
My name remains Bode Gbadebo. Bye for now.